is. The streets are dead. People gonna snitch. People gonna die. People gonna end up in jail. Let's just do some real stuff. Learn day trading. Learn how to be in construction and build for real.
Stop day trading. God damn it. I'm tired of hearing people saying that shit, bro. You're not gonna get rich. You're going to lose more than you make. It's nothing more than prize picks, nigga. And you're not profitable on prize picks, nigga. Stop the cap. Tired of hearing people talk about day trading, bro. The average day trader statistically loses money, bro. Come on, man.
We got all these youngsters claiming streets, claiming blocks, claiming colors, claiming sets, but nobody claiming morals, nobody claiming honor, nobody claiming pride, nobody claiming wisdom. We need the streets turn into a bunch of lost souls pulling triggers without thinking.
And
After 2016.
like a lot of people saying that the streets are dead, but if you ask me, I don't think it's that the streets are dead because violence still exists. I think the obsession with the streets are dead. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people are just tired of all the destruction that it causes. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't even know how people...
It's just immature.
...can be so reckless with their freedom. I don't get it. But at the same time, I'm just happy that people are getting sick of the obsession. I'm just happy that people are like... People are just waking up, bro.
It's immature, bro. As a grown man, what do you need to carry that mindset for, bro?
Now, if you've been paying attention to social media the last few years...
You can learn values from the streets, this and the third. But as a grown man, what do you need to carry that mindset for? You know what I'm saying? The name of the game in life is to elevate year after year, bro. You supposed to try to make it out the hood, not in a casket or in a jail cell, bro.
Especially since the pandemic, you've probably noticed a shift. The street image doesn't hit the same way it used to.
No.
Not because violence disappeared, but because people are exhausted by the damage it's caused in real life. Everything feels louder, more reckless, and harder to defend. So even though the violence is still there, the obsession behind it is slowly starting to die out. Now, for most people, the street lifestyle isn't something they actually lived. It's something they were first introduced to through media, movies, rap videos, documentaries. After the rise of NWA in the late 80s, what started as raw storytelling from places like Compton and South Central LA slowly turned into something else, the birth of gangsta rap. As that sound grew, major corporations stepped in, the streets got commodified, and the hood turned into something you could package and sell. A genre that was originally created to amplify black voices eventually became a product in a much bigger business game. But underneath all that, the truth was always simple. This started with inner city kids rapping about what they're seeing every single day, whether it was violence, poverty, drugs, survival. Those stories resonated and they eventually took off. The same neighborhoods that were once feared suddenly became marketable to the mainstream. And by the time we reach 2025, the glorification of street culture isn't subtle anymore. You can feel its impact everywhere. Entire subcultures in hip-hop, especially drill, took that glorification to a whole new level. Rappers like King Von became the face of a darker, more dangerous era. And the consequences of that are...
Yeah, I wouldn't even say King Von. It was before King Von. I would say Chicago kind of... That Chicago era, 2015, 16, the Rico Reckless era. You know what I'm saying? Birthed at a toxic era, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Still being felt in communities today. But here's the part that matters the most. Street culture didn't disappear.
It went from hustle. It went from hustling to make it out. Hustle, Ace Hood, hustle, hard. You know what I'm saying? It went from hustling to make it out to being the biggest killer, bro. This shit was never about bodies, bro. This was never about who had the most bodies, who was the biggest killer. It was never about that, bro. It was about making it out the fucking hood, bro. I was born in 2000. That's my perspective growing up. Make it out.
It entered a new stage. When social media fully took over, the entire dynamic changed. People weren't just listening to the streets anymore. They were scrolling through them. Fights, robberies, shootouts, beefs, all of this has been documented in front of millions and millions of people. And during the pandemic, when the world shut down and everyone was stuck inside, that visibility hit a whole new level. Drama replaced music, clicks replaced consequences, and real lives paid the price. And that set the stage for a very key figure in this entire conversation.
Who's
King
that?
Von.
King
One
Von,
of Satan's greatest Soldiers was King Von.
The late Chicago rapper King Von wasn't just another street rapper. He became the real-life embodiment of everything the internet glorified, not just through his music, but through how his life played out online. And the internet showed just how deep that influence went. Some of you guys might remember that clip of that young boy saying he was inspired by King Von to chase his teacher with scissors. And that right there just really shows you how far the reach went. A lot of these kids weren't just listening to his music, they were internalizing the persona. And another moment that really puts this entire conversation into perspective is that IG Live, for anyone who hasn't seen it, right? It's an IG Live where King Von pulled up to the hood with Chicago rapper Lil Reese, and there's this little kid standing around him, right? And out of nowhere, he points a water gun straight at Lil Reese's head, and then Von laughs and says, when you really let this clip sink in, there is so much dysfunctional street conditioning baked into these few seconds right here. Because
this happens all across America every day, bro. Man, I seen a little girl. I ride Amazon, bro. I drive Amazon, deliver the packages, bro. I be all through the hood and North Tulsa, all that, bro. I'm riding down this one street one day, right? I turned the corner. I think the house I stopped at was on the corner, right? But across the street and like a little bit in front of me, type shit. It was some adults outside just kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Some men that was outside kicking it. In the driveway. And it was a young boy and a young girl. They was no older than 10, bro. Swear. They was young as hell. The little boy was taking a picture. I guess this might have been his sister or something. The little girl had her butt poked out, taking a picture like this. Just imagine that type of picture, bro. With her butt poked out. I'm like, man, look at this little shit. This little hoe shit. You know what I'm saying? Where's she learning this from? And then these adults standing over here. I'm like, yeah, my world. Stop doing that, little girl. Where you learning that from? You know what I'm saying? And it's from the internet. It's from these phones and shit, bro. The little nigga got a phone taking a picture of her. You know? Like, damn, growing up, we wasn't taking pictures of each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, nigga, flip phones was just in style. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Razor was in style. At that age, you know what I'm saying? Shoot.
Dysfunctional street conditioning baked into these few seconds right here.
I remember my first phone was a Nokia, nigga. You gotta push. I'm talking about the Nokia, nigga. You gotta push, nigga. It got 1, 2, 3. It got the keypad on it, nigga. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you know how the numbers be. You gotta hit to get to letter C, nigga. You gotta click that motherfucker 3 times, nigga. Texting was impossible. Nigga, I ain't even know how to text. You know what I'm saying? It did shit. That was a minute phone. You know what I'm saying? Once the minutes went out, nigga, my dad never renewed them hoes. I ended up getting an Android to I think my first phone, nigga, I was that had service, nigga, I was 16.
Because when you look at street conditioning baked into these few seconds right here. Because when you look at it, the kid wasn't trying to be funny. He was doing what he sees in his world. He didn't understand the weight behind that gesture. Mm-hmm. Because in his environment, it feels normal, except people don't do it with water guns. They do it with real.
I mean, shoot, I remember as a kid, bro. I remember when the iPods was out, bro. The first iPods and shit like that, man. Y'all know they used to have them apps. They used to have the beer app where you could drink it. They had the lighter app, and then they had a gun app. I remember I was on the gun app, nigga. We was doing drive-bys. We was doing drive-bys on the gun app. No cap. Where we learned that from, though? Music, man. I learned that shit from Lil Wayne. Nigga. No cap.
Something that people always overlook. Kids don't imitate rappers, they imitate the environment that shaped the rappers. And once the internet started amplifying that environment, the so-called street image took on a life of its own. And that's where King Von became a symbol.
Well, man, you just gotta look around though. The older niggas is living that life too, that you around. So it ain't just like you learn it from rap. This your real environment. You know what I'm saying? But me growing up though, I seen a lot of shit. Like I seen a lot of people smoking and drinking, and it made me never want to do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Until one day I was like, man, I ain't got no option but to jump off this porch, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I got no option but to. I mean, I had an option but to smoke, but you know what I'm saying, or not, but you know.
not just for the music, but for the
You always got
persona
the
the
option.
internet latched onto. To a lot of people online, he wasn't treated like an artist, okay? He was basically a real-life version of the street image they already believed in. Content creators even portrayed him like a villain straight out of a
King
crime
Von was
documentary.
actually good at
People praised
music,
the
though.
realism. And, you know, Vaughn, for what it's worth, he had the music to back it up.
Yeah,
But
he
here's
was
the truth
actually
about
good
King
with
Von,
his
right?
music, though.
He was a street dude who happened to become a rapper, not a rapper who became a street dude. And that distinction matters because when the lifestyle comes first, the music isn't the cause, it's the evidence. It doesn't create the violence, it records it. And the thing about Vaughn is that he spoke directly to those inner city kids who were already wrestling with the streets around them. Vaughn was the voice they recognized because he lived what he rapped. But like we all know, his story ended during the height of the pandemic after an altercation that turned deadly. However, even in Vaughn's short time on Earth, he became...
Bro would have been, what, 31 now? God damn, that happened in 2020? It's 2026. Bro would have been 32.
someone with massive influence.
Goddamn.
And that influence would go on to shape how the youth viewed street culture and what it really means to live that type of life. But the truth is, Vaughn wasn't the only example of how deep this glorification went. Over the years, there were a bunch of moments, big and small, that showed just how far the culture had drifted from reality. Moments that made people kind of take a step back and say, wait a second, how are we still celebrating this? Now, one of the clearest examples of that is a story I covered years ago, the case of Philadelphia rapper Pop Hunna. Now, Pop Hunna is a rapper out of Philly, and a few years ago, he had real momentum.
Ain't this somebody's
He was picking up steam
boyfriend
in the rap world.
of a
His
shorty?
music was going viral on TikTok. He had a few big cosigns and a few big records, and he looked like he was next up. But almost overnight, his career collapsed.
Never even
and you
heard
may
of this
wonder
nigga.
why.
He was in a relationship with a shorty, wasn't he? A female artist or some shit.
Well, this is why that happened.
Coy Leray or some shit. I don't know.
Helped solve a crime. Back in 2015,
Is that
when
right?
Pop Hunna was just 14 years old, he witnessed the murder of another 14-year-old boy. His name was Duval DeShields, and he did what any scared kid would do. He cooperated with the police. He tried to do the right thing, never imagining that decision would come back to haunt him. Fast forward
14 years old, man.
to 2020.
Don't even know better. Don't even know what the streets is, bro. I ain't know I was in the hood, nigga, till I got 20-something years old. I'm like, damn, nigga, I'm really... Nigga, this the trenches, nigga. Mama really had me in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I ain't know this with the... we ain't know we was living this life till it was too late, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We knew what we was doing, but we ain't really know, though.
During the height of the pandemic, and Pop Hunna is blowing up, and a few of his songs are going viral, and he also got a co-sign in collaboration with Lil Uzi Vert. His entire life was basically changing at this point, and then documents leaked of his cooperation with the police. Suddenly, the entire rap industry labeled him a snitch. Rappers distanced themselves. People clowned him online like he betrayed the streets. Even artists he worked with, like Lil Uzi Vert himself, completely ghosted him.
Lil
Like, he
Uzi a
just
goofy.
stopped responding to him, and he acted
That
like
nigga was never
he never
street.
really even knew him in the first place. And keep in mind, he didn't do anything morally wrong. He was just a witness.
That nigga Lil Uzi tried to come with the street persona when he first came out. He tried to say his name was Lil Uzi Vert, cause he carried a Lil Uzi. Like, that nigga ain't carried a Lil Uzi.
Homicide case where another child lost their life, and still he got blackballed from the rap game forever. I'll never forget the story because it exposed something a lot of us have known about the so-called street code. Street culture does not care about what's right, it cares about maintaining the image. And when people started seeing how backwards it really is, you know, how doing the right thing can get you exiled, that's when a big part of the obsession started dying. And it's not only rappers who got punished by this mentality. Going all the way back to the late 80s, this mindset was already destroying lives, and by the early 90s, it led to one of the most disturbing stories in Chicago history. And it starts with an 11-year-old boy named Robert Yummy Sandifer, nicknamed Yummy because he loved cookies. Before he ever had a real childhood, he was recruited into the Black Disciples, a Chicago street gang that had been around since the late 1960s. Now one day the gang handed him a gun and told him to shoot at a rival, a so-called test of loyalty. But when Yummy fired into a crowd, he accidentally killed a 14-year-old girl named Siobhan Dean. Now what happened after that is that the police were looking for him, and Yummy, because he was a little boy, right, he got scared, and he tried to turn himself in, or he was actually about to turn himself in. And that's when the gang looked at him and said, this kid is going to be a problem. And that's when two teenage gang members took Yummy under a bridge
And killed
told
him.
him that everything would be okay, and shot him in the back of the head. 11 years old, killed by the same
It just be doing shit.
culture.
Go shoot him just because, nigga. Show me how. This shit's stupid. I remember the nigga asked me, I'm already sitting in the hood with you niggas. Nigga asked me if this something about a gang. You can get jumped in. Jump in. Nigga, I look at niggas like, nigga, what? I'm already here kicking it with you niggas. Fuck you mean? I gotta get jumped. Nigga, I ain't jumping in shit, nigga. Fuck out my face, nigga.
That
if I would have done that, it still would have turned out that y'all wouldn't have never been my homies. Like, what the fuck?
this was the only way to belong. And that's the truth about the streets. They don't mentor kids, they recruit them. They don't protect kids, they sacrifice them. All for a reputation that was never real in the first place. And
my thing though, bro, is you only should be doing what you need to be doing in the streets, bro. You hit that lick so you could come up right quick. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to live by the fucking gun, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to sell dope forever, nigga. That's not what you supposed to do. You supposed to better your situation and get out the fucking hood, nigga. That's the whole point. Like, I don't get it. You want to be living in this high rise, nigga. You don't want to be in the hood.
here's the thing, stories like this didn't just expose the truth anymore, right? After a while, they stopped feeling shocking and started feeling familiar. Same outcomes, same funerals, same wasted potential. And when you grow up watching the same endings play out over and over again, at some point, it stops feeling aspirational and it starts feeling exhausting. That's why you're seeing something change. Even people who once fell for the image are starting to realize there's nothing powerful about throwing your life away for the streets and the image that comes with it. But this is where things get more complicated because not everyone who ends up in the streets is there for the same reason. Yes, for some people, for a lot of people, it really is survival, limited options, real economic pressure, growing up feeling like the world was already stacked against you. And
see, this new day and age, man, these little niggas, they gotta try to prove how tough they are, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because this game is not based off making it out the hood. It's not based off getting money. It's based off being the biggest killer, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And when
so these little niggas crash the fuck out, man.
Lives in that headspace, when it feels like you don't have much to lose, that's when you start seeing what people call crashing out. Crashing out is when someone moves off pure ego or emotion with zero thought about what comes next. Essentially, they make a very irrational decision and throw their entire life away. But here's the part that a lot of people don't really like talking about. When it comes to the majority of these cases that we're seeing now of a lot of these young kids crashing out, it's not survival driving their behavior.
Nope.
It's something else. There's another group,
Influence.
a huge group that barely gets mentioned. Kids who actually come from decent homes, parents who care, food in the fridge, a bed to sleep in. They're not running from hunger. They're not running from danger. They're running from being a nobody. And this is what the majority of these crash out cases looks like now. It's a bunch of young lost souls ready to crash out over something minuscule, trying to find themselves through killing another person, because that's the only time they feel a sense of worth. When you feel invisible in every part of your life, the streets promise something fast: status, fear-based respect, and identity. So a lot of these kids aren't choosing the streets because
all you're doing is impressing like-minded people, bro.
They have to. They're choosing it because they want to be seen. And that's why this new generation of young criminals are especially dangerous. A lot of these young kids are so overstimulated that they don't even have the capacity to think beyond the few seconds it takes to take another person's life. So the obsession with the street image has shifted into something even emptier, chasing validation instead of escaping poverty. But there's another huge part of this, the illusion. One of the biggest stories this year exposed that perfectly. Young Thug, a rapper who built
nigga with fucking lip piercings and dresses, nigga. Come on, man. I ain't took Young Thug serious since I grew up, nigga. I went to Young Thug, 21 Savage. They came to Tulsa King's Ballroom. You know what I'm saying? It was a lit ass concert, bro. Lit ass album. That was right when 21 Savage came out. Bank account was going crazy. What's the other songs he had, nigga? You know, Young Thug had that Dress album. But after that Dress album, nigga, and after that concert, I never listened to them niggas again. I listened to 21 Savage a little while afterwards, but Young Thug never again. You know what I'm saying? Young Thug got a recent song called Ghetto with DJ Mustard that I was slapping. That's actually a good song. You know? But these niggas goofy.
Illusion. One of the biggest stories this year exposed that perfectly. Young Thug, a rapper who built his entire career on the image of being powerful,
Look at that dress, Jeffrey.
respected, and deeply connected to the streets. He spent over 900 days in jail, hit with a massive legal case, and was praised for standing on the so-called street principle, especially while distancing himself from Gunna for allegedly breaking them. Then came a very big story, which was the leaked interrogation audio. Clips that appeared to show Young Thug cooperating, name-dropping, talking to detectives, saying he'd talk as long as the world never found out. Long story short, Young Thug, the guy who people pointed to as real street rap, had to fight hard just to protect his image.
Real street rap? This nigga was mumble rap. What are you talking about?
And that's when a lot of people...
This nigga was never real street rap, bro.
...checked out. Because to most people now, it doesn't look powerful. It doesn't look solid. The streets look sloppy. It looks insecure. And once you see that, the question simply becomes, what does being in the street actually contribute to the world? I mean, let's talk about it. You end up broke, you
Not a
lose your
damn
freedom,
thing.
you cut your life short. And here's the thing, which is something a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people in this younger generation, and I'm talking about, you know, people like us, I'm not talking about the crash outs. We want better for ourselves. And that's not because we're soft, but because we've seen what this mindset does to so many communities. And here's the thing, at some point, you gotta call a spade a spade. The streets are lame. I mean, think about it. You're willingly putting yourself in a position where another man controls your freedom, your schedule, your future, your life.
Yeah, how many times have these niggas been to the county jail? How many times you niggas been locked up? Equals how many times you had to spread your cheeks and cough, nigga. For another man. No cap, nigga. I done been to jail, bro. You gotta spread them cheeks and cough, nigga. Niggas don't want to talk about that, though. Yeah, that's part of being gangster. You know what I'm saying? That's part of being gangster, bro.
You gotta call a spade a spade. The streets are lame. I mean, think about it. You're willingly putting yourself in a position where another man controls your freedom, your schedule, your future, your life, and
your meals
and your booty. I mean, is it really worth losing your
them
peace,
cheeks,
your
nigga.
freedom, and your future just
and
to earn the
cough.
respect of
And make sure you give me a good cough, nigga.
other men who would turn on you the second those football numbers get thrown on the table? I don't really think so. Also, let's just talk about the fact that people are exhausted. If you grew up in a neighborhood that, let's say, had a bunch of gang activity, or if you're connected to that through, let's say, family or friends, you've seen what it does. You've seen the funerals, you've seen the trauma, the same cycle.
The average person in these neighborhoods are not on none of that shit, bro. Are not criminals, bro. It's just people in poverty, bro.
Repeating itself over and over again. And over time, normalizing violence.
And gangs don't hang out every day unless they're kids.
Doesn't just hurt people, it kills entire communities out. You start seeing food deserts, businesses pulling out, resources disappearing because they don't want to keep losing money in places where chaos is normal. And that's another illusion people are waking up
Not shutting down an Aldi, though.
from. Let's not forget that the street image is built on an undisciplined structure. Here's the harsh reality about people who glorify the streets and glorify this lifestyle and actually entertain it. They're gonna wake up later in life realizing they chased an image that gave them nothing back. You don't want to be broke, dusty, and have a bunch of charges to your name at the age of 40, wondering what went wrong while the rest of the world moved on. So the question is, what is actually considered cool now? Being responsible, getting money legally, not having to look over your shoulder every single day. Something else that's quietly killing the obsession is positive representation. For a long time, the streets were the only version of success a lot of kids ever saw, especially a lot of minority kids who grew up around pressure, instability, and didn't really have a lot of options around them.
See, back in those days, though, bro, you could hustle your mixtape, bro, to your hood, my nigga. You can't do that these days. No one in your hood is buying your fucking mixtape. No one. No one's buying that shit, bro.
Who grew up around pressure.
So back then, it was different. And even today, niggas think that's the only way to make it, bro. It's a million ways that you can make it in this life, bro. You don't have to be a rapper. Rap is very unprofitable. You're not selling mixtapes for $10 no more, man. It's unprofitable.
Instability and didn't really have a lot of options around them. However,
And all you're doing is selling this criminal image, bro. That's all you're doing, man.
now in 2025,
That's why I don't even like rapping no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? I like rapping, I like music, I like making music, bro. But I don't like that aspect of it though, bro. Cause it's like it keeps me in that low vibrational, low type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? And I'm way bigger than that. If this shit don't work, nigga, I know how to make other ways. You know what I'm saying? Literally, bro. In a legal way. You know? I just told my story on all these tracks already, nigga. And they ain't done nothing. You know? Don't mean you can't keep trying, can't keep working. You know what I'm saying? It's passion. You know? But I'm not about to just keep trying to create. You know what I'm saying? I ain't afraid to say that I'm living a different life now, nigga. Obviously. Sitting here recording videos at 2 o'clock in the morning, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Niggas I was fucking with is locked up. Or we done fell out. The only thing that's gonna come from us being around each other is something negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't the life you supposed to live forever, bro. I was a kid doing that shit. I'm a grown man now.
it's completely changed. As an example, let's take a look at someone like Kai Cenat. He built a $1 million empire off of doing something fun, not violent, not criminal, not destructive. And that is very important, and that matters. Because when kids see someone who looks like them winning without chaos, without destruction, without throwing their life away, it expands their mind into understanding what's possible for them. Once other paths to success become visible, the other path doesn't look all that appealing. If you look around today, a lot of young people want to do social media. They want to become entrepreneurs. They want to do content creation, or actually something stable like getting a CDL or learning a skill, starting a small business, building something they can actually live off. They want a future, not a funeral. And as long as we keep exposing the truth, as long as we remind people what the streets really take from you, fewer kids are going to feel the need to prove themselves through destruction. I do also want to emphasize that now more than ever, a lot of young black men are choosing peace. A lot of young black men are saying, I'm not going to be in the streets, because they've seen what it's done to the people that they love. They're choosing purpose. They're choosing a legacy, because at the end of the day, real strength is building an actual life, not a life in the streets, because that lifestyle always comes with an expiration date. And that's why I believe the street image obsession is slowly dying. But hey, what do I know? You tell me. Do you think the street image obsession is finally losing its grip on society or not? If you made it this far, definitely drop a like on this video. Clearly, this conversation resonated with you if you made it till the end.
Hey, man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. We on the road to 100K. Okay, if you ain't hit that like button, subscribe button, and turned on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself. Because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. I'll get at you on the next one. And I'm gone. TY Pit 9.